Hi everyone, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for tuning in for today's live, Tuesday, September 22nd, 5 p.m. Pacific time. It's the last Tuesday live we're going to do. I've cut it down, so lives are only going to be Wednesday Q&A sessions, minimum half hour. If it goes longer, it goes longer. I'm going to spend those Tuesdays and Thursdays and the rest of the days of the week to make individual, very specific videos that can help you out. Now, it's been a wild day today. We finally got notification that USCIS will restart the I-944 public charge form. The government has announced it on their website, so we're going to talk about that. I'm sure the question is going to pop in. But the important thing to note is that you don't have to submit it until October 13th. They will eventually require and ask it from you. But if you're trying to submit the case sooner than October 2nd to beat the new filing fee rule and the increase, you could submit it without the Form I-944 according to the USCIS.gov website, and then wait to get a request for evidence for missing documents and submit it then. So that'll give you some time to accumulate the documents that you need so that you can submit it and have the answers ready, but also beat the filing fee increases popping up. So be prepared. That's the public charge situation. And I guess another note for you, those of you who have clicked on the links to download the free ultimate marriage green card guide. Unfortunately, there's been a glitch, it seems, for the last 2 weeks on the website for downloading it. So I made a secondary website temporarily till the other one gets fixed. You could download the ultimate guide at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com. You don't need to include the wording at the end, just www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and download it there to have that guide and get the information you need to have the better strategy for your case. So with that, let's get it started. All right, so right off the bat, Instagram, thank you, Multani, for your question. You asked, USCIS closed I-485 application. If judge gives me approval, do I need to file I-485 again? Well, if you're in court, USCIS is not allowed to adjudicate that unless the judge closes it and says USCIS can adjudicate it. So closed doesn't mean approved. And if it was approved, you wouldn't be in court right now. So most likely, the judge on your case is going to have to approve it. Hopefully, the I-130 was approved by USCIS. It's just complicated enough so that it's not appropriate for me to really get into too much answering here. You do need to consult with an immigration attorney in private and have an immigration attorney with you when you go to court to help you out on this kind of stuff. It's just too special to be able to just do it like that. Laura, thank you for trying to go live with me, but we're only doing one way. Just type it out if you had a question and we can go from there. Shami asks, hi, what happens if I didn't change my address with USCIS? Well, it's against the law and there's fines and all this stuff with it. Sorry about the airplane noise. But practically, they don't really bother you to happen historically. But the problem is if the government sends you a document and you don't get it, then it's a big problem because, it might be something you have to respond to. And if you don't, you're going to lose your green card or your application gets denied. Or if for some reason they call you to come to immigration court and you don't go to immigration court, then that becomes a problem because you missed a court hearing and you automatically become removable. So most times that's not the case. Just update it whenever you can, as soon as you can. There's an online form AR11 to update it. If you have an asylum case, there's more procedures needed. Check out the YouTube page at jqqlaw.com. I have another video about that posted. But that's the situation. You should always update your addresses. Let's go to TikTok. Do you think the consulates could stay closed until next year? Some consulates are already open and issuing visas, so some are and some aren't. It's not a matter of what I think, it's just a matter of the situation with the coronavirus and the situation on the ground. Aki asks, hi, do you need to provide the I-864 form while the visa interview for a spouse? Yes, I-864 is required for each applicant in a family-based family marriage case, so you'll need to include that, yeah, but that's just the way it is. Abdul Shah says, it's been 4 months and I haven't got my approval on 30 case. Abdul Shah, I've explained this many times. You asked many times. It takes much more than 4 months. Be prepared for 8 months. And I'm not sure if you have a citizenship or green card. I can't recall. But you just got to be patient. 4 months is nothing. Singhu asks, the I-944 is still not required right now. I just explained at the beginning of the video. It is going to be required. So be prepared for that. That's that. Pavan asks, if I-8751, that's removal of conditions, is approved as a divorce waiver, will the divorce be a problem again when applying for citizenship after 5 years? It can if the officer wants to get into it, especially under the circumstances with the current administration where they want to hassle people. If you're filing for citizenship, they may get into your marriage and try to push you to see if it was real or fake or whatever and re-adjudicate the situation. So I've seen that and worse happen before. It's not typical, but I've seen some crazy things happen. So when you are going to file for citizenship, you should be prepared to go into it with fully, able to back up that the marriage is real. Most likely they won't even get into it, but be prepared for the worst. Always, be prepared for the worst, prep for the best. All right, we got some good fans. We got Roman here. Thank you, Roman Zachenko. And Lord, as I said, I'm not going to do live video responses. Just type in your question. Shard asks on TikTok, I applied a second time for extension of my B2 visa in March, still getting approved. Yeah, it takes a while to get the approval notice, so you got to be patient. Lemon asks, do I need to ask for new extension letter waiting for I-751 decision, that's removal of conditions, when 18 months has expired? They won't give you a new extension letter if you need proof of residency, and this could be because you want to travel or you have work or something like that. They're pretty strict on giving what I'm about to tell you, but you need to request an InfoPass appointment to go in person to a USCIS office so they can give you a green card stamp, a temporary green card stamp in your passport, and that'll hold you over if you need to travel or you need to show proof of authorization. They've gotten really difficult in giving those appointments and giving those stamps, so be prepared for that headache. But they won't give you another letter. It's the stamp that does it. But hopefully 18 months, hopefully soon you'll get the actual green card. And you probably should have, if it's appropriate in your case, file for citizenship at this point, just so you have that ball rolling as well. Vicky asks, hi, let me see right here. My wife and I filed about a year ago, but I haven't gotten anything. Could it be because of COVID? No, things take a while. Now, if you haven't gotten anything, you haven't got a receipt, then that's an issue. So you have to see more. You have to be more specific about what you mean you haven't got anything. Because usually people say I haven't got anything, then they got a ton of stuff. Baskin says, hi, sir. I have received an EAD. How long take EAD? Sir, I have received EAD notice. How long take EAD card? I don't know. It depends on how long they want to take. It's not up to me. Hey, good to see MJ. Darren, just scrolling through lives. Yep. Akiash says, what if you submit Form I-864, that's the affidavit of support, the financial portion of a green card application, to the National Visa Center already? Do you still have to bring it to the embassy with you? If there's no updates and stuff, not really. What I have clients do is take W-2s and any new W-2s and new proof of income, like pay stubs. In the paperwork for the embassy, it does say you have to bring one with you. If you could get the copy to your partner, that'd be good, but I've never, once or twice out of hundreds have I seen them actually ask for it, because you've already uploaded it to the National Visa Center. So do you need to post it? Not really, but if you can, send an original copy just so they have it, but most likely, very unlikely that's going to be asked for. So be prepared for that, but do send them copies of your pay stubs or proof of continued income in case they want to ask about that. Definitely do that. Yes, here asks, how long does it take to approve adjustment of status of permanent residence after I-140 approved? It varies for every case. Beard Boy asks, my case is ready for scheduling for interview. They say it's a local office. It's been already 4 months. Yeah, I have a video on this. It's very popular, one of my most popular videos on YouTube. You just have to wait. There's no timeline that they have to abide by. Shaw asks, I'm waiting since March 23rd to schedule an interview based on judgment. Yep, just wait a little bit longer and not scheduling those yet. Akiash says, the MVC approved all my submitted documents. How long will it take for me to make an appointment? However long they want to take. Okay, yes, here's how long does it take? It takes however long they want to take. All the questions about time, there's no control, there's no timetables. Whatever they want to do, that's that. That's one of the reasons I'm not going to do Q&As anymore, because I've answered this question a million times. Hari asks, I-485 application, can you change the company with ongoing processing and complete it the new company? Hari, that gets into complications of changing an employer that's already sponsored you for the I-140 and doing AC-21 transfer, all this kind of stuff. It's complicated enough where I do not want to discuss it here. That's something you should consult privately with the immigration attorney and review Form I-485J along with talking with the other company about their finances and the job that you have there is the same or similar job. It gets really complicated, so it's too much for a Q&A like this. Instagram Signu Sign asks, so if I don't send the I-9404, what are the consequences? I'm really done with my filing, just mail it tomorrow. Well, actually, before I got on the Q&A right now, I was doing the final touches on a similar application. Everything's ready to go. We're gonna submit it, the application package for a marriage-based green card without the I-9404 public charge, because according to the USCIS.gov website, we have until, if you're filing a case before October 13, 2020, they won't deny a case for not sending it. After October 13th, they will. And I don't want my clients to pay the additional filing fees that are coming up after October 2nd. I'm going to save them hopefully, $1,000 or so or more. So I'm going to finish it up right now, mail it out tomorrow so the government gets it, and then in the meantime work with them to complete Form I-944 and get all the documents. So when USCIS does send an RFE, a request for evidence, for the Form I-944 and attachments and all that kind of stuff, then we'll have it ready to go there. So that's what we're doing. Now I can't, you're not my client, I can't tell you what to do and all that kind of stuff, but prepare for that. Roman asks, if someone has a DUI and is a green card holder, does that preclude them from getting naturalization? Does it help if they were in the US military? Well, what happens is they're gonna do, thanks Roman, they do a judgment call based on the person's background. So it depends on when the DUI was. So if DUI just recently happened and the court's still open or you're still on probation, they automatically deny the citizenship. So that's one thing. And if it's within, let's say the probationary, the probation's on, the DUI is, you know, all done, you paid it, did all that kind of stuff, but it still occurred within the last 5 years, that looks bad. If it's outside the 5 years, historically it wouldn't matter at all. I've had people with 2 DUIs, but recently the Trump administration put down orders that they're going to crack down on this. So we're not sure exactly how bad it's going to be because it's so new. But a DUI, especially if there's more than one, is going to be a problem. So in that kind of case, I have to see, is the DUI how recent it is and other factors that they're going to be judged by. If they're in the US military, it's a positive because they'll say, okay, they're a military person. But that's when you want to go into showing they're a person of good moral character, explain the reason why the DUI was, and you got to get the details of the DUI too. Did they just get pulled over, or did they hit somebody, or did they run into a wall, or, you know, there's damages to people, damage to property. All that is taken into consideration to judge the person's moral character for naturalization. So that's something you really got to analyze on a case-by-case basis. Gila asks, hi, I am a recent less than 1 year I-751 approvals. You got it. Okay, so you're talking about removal of condition form I-751. I think you're saying, have you gotten any recently in less than 1 year? I have, but I have ones that are a year and a half waiting. So I've gotten ones in 6 or 7 months, and I have a couple that are 1.5 months. So there's no consistency to it. They just all take different amount of time. Let's go back to TikTok. See, I've got some questions there. Shaw asks, how long can they take for interview? However long they want. Akiash asks, what if you have a joint sponsor? Do you have to bring their last pay stub to interview too? It's better that you do that, yeah. Shaw says, should I call them? If you like, it's not gonna do anything. Akiash says, what if you get the visa, but you can't travel to USA due to flight cancellations? I mean, I don't know, it is what it is. If you can't get on a plane to come here, you can't get on a plane to come here. That's all it is. Akiash says, do you have to renew the visa? Akiash, I'm losing track of, if it goes past the 6 months, yes. Or 6 months from the medical, yes. Harid asks, any prediction for October visa bulletin for EB3 category will be current in your opinion? Well, I'm not sure if it's going to be current or not, but there's probably going to be a huge jump forward, but that's as much as I could say. One for kind asks, says, being religious and belief, I don't support war and bearing arms. Can this affect citizenship? Yes, it can. You should hire a lawyer. Like for example, there's certain religious sects in America and groups that don't believe in bearing arms, so they have to handle these naturalization citizenship applications a certain way for the question that asks about bearing arms, going to war and stuff like that. They have to be able to explain it and show it's not like a joke, you really believe in it. So there's more work that needs to be done for it, so consult an immigration attorney in private if that's an issue that you don't want to answer yes to that question about supporting the US militarily and that kind of stuff. Multani asks, immigration judge approved my I-485 based on approved I-130. How long it take to receive green card? Well, there's more paperwork you have to do. Once the I-485 is approved by the judge, then you have to go and call USCIS and do that kind of stuff. How long it takes, I don't know. There's no timelines on this stuff. Shamli's asks, is it better to file N-400 online or by mail? That's a personal decision. As an attorney, I only file things by mail. But if you want to do by online, then that's up to you. All right. And so, okay, let's ask, can you try to fix a green card with my DACA? DACA doesn't give any rights to getting a green card. At most, if you do advanced parole, it cures unlawful entry. But that's about it. So schedule a consultation with a lawyer to review the situation and see what's appropriate for you. Yasi asks, my I-140 has been approved. Does that mean my green card petition has improved? Well, the petition hasn't approved. Yeah, if your I-140 is approved, that's a petition, it's approved, but you still have to have an application for adjustment of status or a consular processing immigrant visa approved. So there's still more to go in your case. Shard asks, my B2 expired in June. I applied for re-extension on March, but I'm pending. Am I illegal now? Well, you're in a period of authorized stay where you don't accumulate what's called unlawful presence time. It's too complicated discussion of what that means to bring up here. But you can stay here in the meantime until you get a decision. They could pick you up. So in the sense of being illegal, yeah, ICE could come and pick you up for being out of status. But as a policy matter, they typically don't do that. If the person doesn't have criminal history or something like that, they let them wait for a decision on their case, and if denied, then they have to leave. So I wouldn't be worried about getting picked up or anything like that. But you know, consult with an attorney for more details on that. Kath Paul says, my B1, B2 visa expired. Do I need work permit? What can I do? And you need a work permit. Well, I don't know. You're out of status right now, so they're probably not going to give you a work permit. What you need to do is consult with immigration in private. You have a bad situation. Akyash says, once you get the visa, it's for 6 months, right? So when you get your green card approved through the embassy, they give you, the green card's not even approved yet. They approve an immigrant visa. Only upon arriving in the United States and going past Customs and Border Protection is the green card approved and issued. But that immigrant visa that the embassy gives you is valid for 6 months from the date of the medical appointment, not from the interview. So before you get your immigrant visa interview done, usually you're supposed to do a medical checkup, and that medical checkup is valid for 6 months. So the officer issuing the visa will look to see the date of the issuance of the medical checkup, add 6 months to it, and have that as the timeline of how long the validity of the immigrant visa is, and you have to come in before that expires. There is a possibility of requesting an extension of the visa if it is expired. You will need to do a new medical checkup and may have to do some more paperwork and updates and stuff like that. It's not recommended because things change rapidly in the immigration system. It's better just come to the U.S. as soon as possible. But if it goes past that, you could request and explain to the embassy what happened that caused you not to be able to come to the United States sooner and request it. And usually they'll give it, but it's up to them. So I can't say it's for certain going to happen. That's why it's important to just come to the United States once you have the visa, not need to request an extension of it to avoid those kind of problems. Beer Boy, a regular asks, can you travel on conditional green card on this pandemic situation? Yeah, the conditional green card, you could travel on it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. One for Kind says, thank you for answering my question. You're welcome, One for Kind. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Right, so we got some more questions. Akish asks, do you need a work permit if you came to USA with a spousal visa? If you enter the United States with a spousal immigrant visa, upon arrival, you get issued a green card. So the green card is a work permit. So I'm not exactly sure what you mean, if that's something different you're asking. Mary says, hi. Well, hi to you too, Mary. Samar says, hi, John. What does it mean when there is no data from National Visa Center? I don't know. I'm not sure what it means, no data. I haven't seen that, so I have to check it out. I'm not sure. Leo asks, hi, I submitted my adjustment of status on June. They received the papers. They sent me an RFE and I sent the docs. Okay. Where's the question in there? Leo says, and I still don't have the biometrics. Okay, you gotta be patient. You'll get it when you get it. Kathwa says, there's no way to get a work permit if I'm out of status. I can't say there's no way, but it doesn't look good. There's almost no way, very rare. But that's why you got to consult an attorney to see if some sort of exception applies to you. You're subject to removal and deportation right now, being out of status. User 97 says, USCIS has asked for employment papers, but I am currently unemployed. What should I do? Should I do a joint sponsor? You know, that's a case-specific information. I can't give that. But if you don't make enough money for the affidavit of support portion of a green card case that you have for somebody, you will need a joint sponsor, and hopefully they'll accept that. They've gotten more strict about joint sponsors recently. You're welcome, Beard Boy. Akash says, do they give the green card after 3 months of staying in the United States? Once you enter the United States, they're supposed to give the green card soon after if you paid the fee. Sometimes it takes a while, sometimes it gets lost, sometimes it takes like 10 months. But traditionally, a few weeks after arriving, it comes if you've paid the fee that they have to pay them separately for that. QQ asks, would I be accepted if I applied for the F1 visa at that time? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on what the officer wants to approve and your background. Musi asks, what do I do if my work authorization expired while my case is pending? Well, you should have applied for a renewal of the work authorization before the work authorization expired. You would have got an automatic extension and got a new one. Now that it's expired, I'm not exactly sure. I wish you had an immigration attorney to avoid those kind of problems. But you could file for a new work permit. I'm not sure if they'll give the automatic extension now, so you're kind of screwed to a certain extent, but I have to double check. I've never not filed it within the primary period, so I'm not exactly sure what happens if you don't file in time. I have to look that up. Sony asks, hi, I see a mountain lion in the backyard. I wouldn't put it past them. Here I'm in LA, that stuff does pop up. Q asks, what is the easiest way to get a green card? there's no easy way to get a green card. I guess getting married to a U.S. citizen, but there's so many things that go into it, or being a person of extraordinary ability, for example. Kath asks, you're welcome, Musi. Kathy asks, I'm out of status, so still can I apply for a Canada file? I'm not a Canadian immigration attorney, so I can't advise on what's going on with Canadian immigration law. Akiash follows up, can you make a video on what the things you should know would bring to the interview and how to prepare for it? Well, Akiash, just download my my ebook, my Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. I have information about that, about how to prepare for an interview and stuff like that. Just so go to www, make sure to type in the www part, www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and then download it there, and that's it. User 97 asks, USCIS is asking for employment papers, but I'm currently employed. I already answered that one, User 97. Q says, can I visit other countries with the B1, B2 visa? No, the B1, B2 visa from the United States is only for traveling to the United States. That's that. Akiash says, is the ebook updated? The last time updated was in July, August, September, so it's pretty updated. Samir says, thank you, you're welcome. I appreciate that, thank you very much. So yeah, the ebook is pretty much there. It has a lot of the information that you need, and you know, it's free. So to see what you got, and then consult an immigration. Really, if you're worried about stuff, just get a lawyer. Jay asks, I just finished filing my husband's paperwork. I saw something that the I-944 is not required right now. Is that correct? Well, it is required, but they'll ask you for, if you already filed the case, they'll get a notice in the mail asking that you submit the I-944. So start getting prepared for that letter to come in the mail asking for the form I-944. Unfortunately, the government didn't give us, you know, good guidance on what's going on until last second today. It's really annoying. Musi asks, have you ever had a case where they didn't give an answer after an interview, or do you know someone who has after a green card interview? Yeah, a lot of times the green card interview, they don't give an answer right there. You have to wait for a decision. Kathy says, if I'm married with a U.S. citizen, so after how many months do I get a work permit? A marriage to a U.S. citizen doesn't get you a work permit. That doesn't do anything. And then how long it takes after you file the case, if your case is appropriate, I don't know. It just takes however long they want to take. QQ says, does immigration have an eye on you when you get married? Like, can they come to your house? Immigration could do whatever they want. ICE or Immigration Customs Enforcement could do whatever they want if you want to come knock on your door. So, yeah, but I mean, it's very rare, but it's possible. It depends on your background, who you are, what you've done, all that kind of stuff. User 97 asks, is it necessary to be employed if I'm sponsoring my husband? It depends on the case, most likely, because you have to sign an affidavit of support, and if you're not working and making money, that's going to be a problem for your case. So you might have to join sponsor, but it's better that you be working and making enough money, not just working, but making enough money. So you should consult an immigration attorney, or download my ebook, The Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide, at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and it'll explain what's going on with that. Sonny asks, do I need to submit a medical exam to a judge because USCIS closed my application on I-485? If you haven't had a decision on your I-485, you're submitting it to the judge, yes, you need to. When you say USCIS closed my application, I'm not sure what that means. So I don't know. It means they closed in a court. I would be safe to get one, but I'm not really sure what your question is because you're not using the terminology properly, so I can't really answer that. User 97 says, is employment necessary? I already answered that one. Cathbo says, thank you for answering my question. You're welcome. Q asks, how do they know that I married the U.S. citizen for the passport, like fraud? Can they catch me? Q, you're asking weird questions, man. Just don't do fraud and stick by the book, and just get a lawyer in private if you're that paranoid. But these are kind of weird questions. U97 says, thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah, I mean, ICE could come. You know, I had a guy contact me. He was from Africa and he got married and wanted to do a case. And he's like, yeah, I just got married, but yesterday ICE came and knocked on my door. I'm like, how did they find you? He's like, I don't know. But I did renew my passport because he had come on a tourist visa and overstayed. So no one knew where he lived. So I was like, okay, no one's going to come. But he had renewed his passport because it expired through his home country's embassy. And it seems like the home country gave that information to the U.S. So they had his new address in the United States. They came and knocked at his door and gave him a piece of paper that says you have to appear in court. So anything's possible, man. You never know. Nearmar says, when is National Visa Center going to open? The National Visa Center never closed. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, but NVC never closed. They're processing cases, so don't waste time and get it in. Akio says, can you adopt a child from outside the United States and sponsor him or here? It is possible. It's a very complex process. 100% you need to have a legal team helping you on that, but that's that. Q says, how much money you need to have to invest in the United States to get a U.S. passport? You cannot invest in the United States to get a passport. You could potentially invest to maybe get a green card. It's going to cost a lot of money, more than $700,000, probably $1 million or more. But that's that. If you are interested in something like that, just consult with a lawyer in private if you have the funds to do something like that. You got to be very wealthy to be able to pull that off, but that's how that one works. All right. So thank you so much for your questions. I appreciate it. And we got a police helicopter going above me. But yeah, the main thing going on right now is just what's going on with this public charge. Well, how strict are they going to be on it? And so we really don't have any examples to know. Akash says, can you sponsor your sister's children USA? You can sponsor your sister if you're a U.S. citizen. And if the children stay young enough, they could come in on that green card application. That's about it. M. Juarez asks, my case was approved last year, but when I check a website or it says MVC, how long do you have to wait? I don't know. First of all, I can't answer questions about timelines. But secondly, when you say case approved, what case? If you're at the MVC, your case hasn't been approved yet. You might mean you're I-130 or something. That's not necessarily a case approval. Q asks, I do thinking to move from UAE and invest in the United States. Well, schedule consultation. How young does the child have to be to come here? That's a complicated question. Essentially, it has to be under 21 or maybe older, if depending on how old they are. That's the best answer I give. It's more complicated, so I have to explain it individually for something like that. And I don't feel like explaining the whole thing about the Child Status Protection Act, CISPA, right here, right now. Singh says, hello, sir. I didn't receive my work permit after approval. It's going to expire this month, so should I again? Okay, so if you had a work permit and you filed for a new one, work permit after approval, if you got a EAD, employment authorization document, the work permit as they call it, approved, you got the letter for approval, but the card has not arrived in the mail, they have temporarily allowed that approval notice to act as a work permit because the USCIS has run out of money to be able to print all the work permits. So if that's the case, then you could use that card. But I have to see what's going on in your case individually, when that approval notice came, all that kind of stuff to give individual advice on that. User 12 asks, if someone green card holder stays outside US for over 5 years and wants to come back, what should they do? They should contact a lawyer in private to discuss that. Q asks, can an F1 visa holder work in the United States? If you have a student visa, you're welcome, Singh. You can maybe do a thing called CPT or OPT, and it's very specific circumstances that the school has to approve. So consult with the lawyer to see if that's appropriate for your case. Sign asks, does the medical have to go to the same time with the other documents, or can it be done when we get to the interview? Right now they're going to be changing the rules on this, but right now when this recording is happening on September 22nd, 2020, you do not have to submit the medical checkup with the application. You can get it afterwards and bring it to the interview, but the government is trying to change that rule, so be prepared for that. But that's the exact answer at this time. So with the immigration, I used to say every 12 hours everything changes, but now it's every 6 hours. When I first started, we would say every couple of years things changed. Then it became every few years, then every 1 year, then 6 months. Now, and then it came like every couple of weeks, and every day, every 12. Now it's like every 6 hours the rules in immigration change, and it's very frustrating, especially when you deal with immigration as much as I do. So it's everything I say here prepared in an hour, so it might not be the rule. So you need to have a lawyer that's always on top of it, because it's just going to change. It's a really bad situation that the law is just so inconsistent and changes so much. Akia says, can the embassy check your phone while interviewed to see if relationship is real? Yeah, if they like, they could ask for it. Q asks, thank you for giving us your time to ask you weird questions. You got it, Q. Appreciate it. Sani, okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I know it's a worrying process to go through, so I know a lot of questions pop up, yeah, it's just some of these questions I hear a lot and have to say over and over again. Some of them are just way too much answers needed. Some are just way off. But it's not a problem asking these kind of questions if you have them. It's nothing personal. Board Panda asks, is it possible to apply for a visitor visa for someone who has filed for a green card from India? You can. Usually it gets denied, but you can give it a shot if you want to. It's just a filing fee getting lost. Just make sure you fill out the application properly and don't have inconsistent or incorrect information that could look like you're lying. Q asks, did you study in the U.S.? Yes, I went to college. I'm American, so I was born and raised here. I went to school, college, and law school here. Yeah, so we're reaching the end of the show. So last Tuesday live, thank you all for joining. We're just going to stick to Wednesdays from now on. Going to be live on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube live on Wednesdays, every Wednesday. So that's going to be fun at 5 p.m. Yomi asks, I got an RFE. I responded to it on time a few months ago. Later, USCIS denied my I-130 any solutions. I don't know. I have to see why they denied it and what the reason for it is. It's not good. It's a pretty crappy situation. But U.S. like as soon as possible need to get off the phone, or at least get off TikTok, and schedule a consultation with an immigration attorney so they can review the denial notice to see what happened, because it's not good. Multani asks, can I apply for travel document based on approved I-360? No, the I-360 does not give you travel document decision directly. You can always apply for humanitarian parole if that's approved or not under any circumstances, but that's if they want to approve it or not. So that's that, Multani. Definitely schedule a consultation with an attorney to go over this stuff. It's very, the answers to this stuff is complex and is really case specific. So definitely, there's a lot of pro bono agencies that help to talk with you about that. Now, I'm definitely going to keep going on TikTok on Wednesdays live and YouTube. Instagram, we got some good questions today, but usually TikTok and YouTube hit the most amount of questions and keeps the ball rolling, so I like doing that. But during the meantime, I'm just going to be recording other kinds of videos, just on specific issues in a long-term format. And one thing is, I'll do a video, it'll get like 40,000 views, and I still get the same questions, and so I'll do different versions of the same video a lot of time too. Q asks, if I'm a U.S. citizen and I work in another country, do I have to pay the U.S. my taxes? Well, you should ask an accountant about that, but yes, the U.S. taxes on international income, which you have to declare and pay taxes on, depending on the treaty the U.S. has with the foreign jurisdiction that you're working at, which may decrease the amount of taxation. This is more complicated and unrelated to my specialty of immigration law, so consult with an accountant for that. Yomi asks, if got denied because they claimed they didn't receive my response, USPS shows delivered. Well, Yomi, you immediately need to start arguing with the office to say, no, you got it, here's the proof and all that kind of stuff. And then if need be, file an appeal, but also work with a congressperson, maybe contact the ombudsman. You got to fight it as soon as possible, because you don't have much time. Juicy asks, if we divorce while green card is in process, can I apply again? What's the other options? Juicy, that's a question you need to consult private. There's a lot that goes into answering that. That's not a good forum here to get into, but it's not a good situation. But you might be subject to removal. If you get married again, they might say this current marriage that you just separated from was a fraud. So you need to document things and be very prepared for the worst. Hopefully it won't work out that way, but it's not good to get divorced before you got the green card. Even after you got the green card, they can hassle you, but you want to get it all done properly. If not, then you go down a rabbit's hole that's full of problems and errors, and it's going to be a major headache for the next couple of years in your life. All right, everybody, on that down note, we'll take one last question. If not, we'll call it a day, and I'll catch you all tomorrow live here on TikTok and then on YouTube. JQK Law is the YouTube handle. On TikTok, I'm Immigration Lawyer John. The recording of this will be on the YouTube page for JK Law Firm, along with hundreds and hundreds of clips that could help you out. You're welcome, Juicy. Okay, Q has the last question. Can my good brother give me the U.S. passport, and it will be easier to give it to my mom? Nobody could give someone a U.S. passport, so I'm not sure what you're talking about, but if your brother's a U.S. citizen, he could apply for your mom if your mom has the correct background. I'm not sure what you mean giving passports to each other. That doesn't make any sense to me, Q. So you definitely consult with an immigration attorney private about all these questions. It can give you a better level of advice. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Be safe. God bless. Talk to you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.